Max, is that you? Oh God, we've had an incident that almost replicates the incident between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton at the Silverstone Grand Prix at the weekend. So let's go through this incident. Now, before we begin, I don't want to put blame on anybody. I'm not calling out this driver specifically. This incident has happened quite a few times at this exact same corner in these crazy Red Bull cars. They're so fast to drive, everything happens so quickly. So I want to make this more of a conversation about when you're racing side by side and what we think the rules should be. As always, guys, get involved in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'm always interested to know your thoughts. So side by side racing, let's talk about who should be given the space, how much space you should be given. Should you be driving to the apex or should you be driving to the car that's next to you? We'll get to that a little bit later. Before we begin, we're going to go through lap 1 with these crazy Red Bull cars, and well, it's a completely spicy race, and it turns out as we run wide there, that's going to be a track limits penalty, I think. Now we're going to get away with that one. No, we didn't get away with it. Lamont is always so late handing out his penalties, and we've got a penalty right from the go. That's not really going to kick off our race very well at all. We're getting passed to the inside by the British driver Charlie 8, and passed again as well. So a bit of lag there as the Irish driver teleports forwards. We're going to try and fight back now, but we have got that penalty and we're going to serve it pretty much straight away. So we've started this race in reverse gear, but we're going to try and progress forwards as best we can. If you do enjoy this video, hit that like button. It tells YouTube that this video is worth putting out to other people for them to get served up this content. It does help the channel, it helps to promote the video and spread the video through other people's news feeds. So we've got past again, but they're going to run wide on corner exit, and we're going to get an overspeed on the exit there. So that's going to get us back into that 16th position. A full 20 car race, no tyre requirements in this one. It's just literally you start on medium tyres and you try not to kill your rear tyres as the race goes on. Now to the inside, the driver is fighting back, and we're going to get on the brakes now, try and outbrake them into this difficult corner. We're going to run way too wide and lose many places. Italian driver spins in front of us and we are almost in last position. Probably the worst start I've had in this race so far. It's such an eventful race, guys. If you haven't done it already, make sure you try this race at least once this week, because these cars are absolutely madness to drive. You have to run your brain at 150% speed just to keep control of these cars. Everything happens so quickly, and I think that's why these incidents happen. Everything happens so quick. It's difficult to really plan what you're doing, what's going on. So we're going to try and get into the slipstream of the British driver there, and maybe try and make a move into Porsche curves. This is always a difficult situation because you have the overspeed of the slipstream, but into Porsche curves it's almost a flat out corner. In fact, it is flat if you're on your own in clean air, and I think that's where you're going to see later on. This is where the corner that causes so many problems. Again, very similar to Copse Corner at Silverstone. There's no real braking for that corner. It is a high-speed corner, and if you are side by side, you are heavily relying on the driver next door to basically give you room. Both drivers need to be compliant, as we're going to cut the track there and maybe no, we didn't get away with that one. Another penalty there. My driving in this particular race wasn't good at all, guys. I've got to admit, I just wasn't really on it. You know, those days where things just don't go your way. And probably as we're going to get on the brakes there, we're going to try and avoid that driver as we missed our braking point now. And do we get a penalty from that cut? We are losing positions, so we didn't really gain any time from that. So yeah, no penalty for us, as we are fighting at the back of the pack. Skipping forwards now, lap number 4. This is the build up to the incident we went through at Porsche curves. We were a bit wide there, and the driver will get back past us. A bit of contact on the corner exit, but that was side on side. We're going to get back in the slipstream, and when we go to the inside, the driver's going to block us off late, which is going to put us in the wall. I think that was probably saw me in the mirrors a bit late. The intention was to maybe defend to the inside, and we're going to get on the brakes a little bit too late and have to take avoiding action from rear-ending that driver in front, but we are going to be still in the slipstream, and we're going to gain a huge amount down this long straight now, all the time gaining more and more. We're going to go to the outside. The inside was defended. We should have enough overspeed to get that move done, and he might have enough to get back in the slipstream, and no, he's not going to have enough. And we're going to get on the brakes, leave ourselves a little bit defensive and get that corner done. We're going to go defensive into this corner as well. So there are drivers ahead. He's going to brake to the outside, but that's going to compromise our corner exit here. This is the run up to the corner in question. So we're ahead. He's going to get the slipstream from behind. I'm going to go defensive. I'm going to force him to the outside, make him go the long way around, and then he's to the outside now. Into this corner here, there's almost no braking. We just back off the throttle and turn in. Contact to the apex, and he runs wide. That final bit of contact was just him spinning and coming back across the track. So let's try and analyse what actually happened there. So the driver on the outside he is ahead of me, but he hasn't quite fully cleared my car. My nose is still alongside his rear quarter, freezing it there. This is where we start to turn in for the corner. Slow motion now as we go towards the apex. I'm trying to keep a tight line, pausing it here. This is the moment of contact. I'm fully off throttle, trying to keep it as tight as possible. I feel like I'm being closed in from the outside, and yeah, contact is just going to force him a little bit wide, and then the crash then happens afterwards. We're going to run it through again. Let me know in the comments below as we've gone through this analysis and what you think each driver could have done differently. Now, I maybe think I should have backed out of this one. Looking here, we are not quite alongside. Should I have backed out of that one? It's tough to see. He's got a very wide corner entry and sweeps across in front of me. But more than this specific incident, how do you think two racers should be taking corners like that? Should the driver on the outside be driving to avoid the car on the inside, or should they be carving the corner to hit the apex, leaving a car's width on the apex? Should the driver on the inside be aiming to be on the apex and absolutely no wider? Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think the rules should be when you're racing side by side? Certainly in the higher speed corners. Is the car to the inside? Are they allowed to run to the middle of the track? Or do they have to hit the apex? Is the car on the outside? Are they allowed to get into just within a car's width of the apex? As always, guys, I'm really interested to hear your feedback on this one. How do you race when racing in GT Sport? Does that change when you're racing in a more serious simulation like iRacing or ACC, where the car contact physics are much more brutal? Let me know in the comments below. For what it's worth, nothing was mentioned afterwards in the post-race chat. If you have enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one.